If I seem strange to you, pay no mind. Better by far if you can't see the things that haunt me, that you can't hear them. Started back in 23, after that big Berkeley fire. Remember the one? In September. Authorities may have deemed the evidence inconclusive, but something unusual happened there. On that point, I am absolutely certain. The following month was filled with unusual occurrences. What started off as another ordinary yet peculiar October day turned into the most horrifying experience one could imagine. The morning sun rose over the horizon and spilled its golden light across the sky in a breathtaking display of colors. But there was something different about today. An uneasiness settled in the air like a thick fog obscuring my view, making it hard for me to breathe properly. The wind whispered unsettling secrets through the trees, chilling my bones despite the warmth of the sun. As I walked along the familiar path towards the old oak tree where I used to sit and read, my heart pounded faster with each step. I had always felt a sense of peace in that place, but today it seemed like something was off, as if the world itself was shifting and changing around me. I reached the oak tree and settled down on its roots, opening my book, hoping for a distraction from the unease gnawing at my mind. But as I read, something began to creep into my peripheral vision, a dark shape in the corner of my eye that vanished whenever I turned to look directly at it. The hours passed, but the oppressive feeling intensified. Shadows seemed to grow longer and darker, even though the sun was still high in the sky. A chill ran down my spine as a cold wind began to howl around me, carrying with it an unearthly melody of whispers. The words were indistinguishable, yet I felt their meaning deep within my bones. I tried to ignore the growing sense of dread and continued reading, attempting to escape into the pages of the book. But it was no use. The darkness closed in, suffocating me. Panic overwhelmed me as I realized that something was coming closer with every passing moment. The shadows coalesced around me, growing stronger and more substantial until a figure loomed over my shoulder. Its eyes were empty voids, sucking all light out of existence. A cold, slimy appendage reached for me, drawing me into the darkness. I screamed as I was pulled into the abyssal depths, leaving behind the world I knew. But somehow, in an act of pure instinct, I managed to resist being completely consumed by the void. I emerged from that dark place, stumbling back onto familiar ground, gasping for air and clutching my chest. The sun had set, casting long shadows as I looked around in confusion. As the night deepened, the unsettling whispers returned, echoing within my mind rather than just the wind around me. They haunted me relentlessly. I remain forever changed by that indescribable terror. And so, on a day that started with such beautiful and ordinary promise, I was left to wander through life, stalked by these insidious whispers from beyond the void. Come to think of it, 46 brought another unsettling encounter for me, one that further reinforced those chilling memories of 23. It was a crisp autumn morning when I first noticed something unusual. The leaves on the trees were rustling as if stirred by an invisible wind, and their usual warm hues had been replaced with shades of dark gray and purple. A sense of foreboding enveloped me like an oppressive cloak as I ventured outside. I decided to visit my old oak tree, seeking solace in a place where I once found peace. But upon reaching the spot, I felt a strange sensation, an unexplainable heaviness in the air that made it hard to breathe properly. As I readied myself for another day of work, I noticed an unfamiliar figure standing some distance away. Its back was turned towards me, but something about its posture and movement seemed unnatural, almost as if it were defying gravity. The figure gradually turned around to face me, revealing a creature unlike any I had ever seen before. Its body appeared fluid and amorphous, shifting between various geometric shapes that seemed to merge and split at random. The color of the entity was an eerie green, which pulsated unnaturally like a diseased heartbeat. Frozen in terror, I could only watch as it moved closer towards me with an unhurried pace. Its form undulated and twisted before my eyes, creating impossible angles and curves that defied the laws of nature. And yet, as the creature drew nearer, something inexplicable seemed to happen within my own mind. My thoughts grew more disorganized, my memory foggy, and my sense of reality weakened. Just when I thought all was lost, a sudden burst of clarity washed over me. In an act of desperate defiance, I clung to one single thought. The date was October 13th, 1946. The creature paused for a moment, as if sensing my brief resurgence of consciousness. It then turned around and slowly began to recede into the shadows, away from the faint flicker of sanity that still burned within me. Left shaken and forever changed by this second encounter with cosmic horror, I stumbled back onto familiar ground. The oppressive atmosphere gradually dissipated, leaving behind a haunting reminder of the surreal experience. And so it was, on a day filled with foreboding shadows and unnatural whispers, that I again narrowly escaped becoming a part of an indescribable terror lurking just beyond our reality. Let's see. It was November of '51 that really woke me up. I felt an inexplicable pull towards my old oak tree, a silent witness to previous encounters with our greater reality. The air was heavy with anticipation, and it seemed as if the very fabric of reality was about to unravel. The wind carried whispers that sent shivers down my spine, while leaves rustled eerily around me, as if beckoning me towards something dark yet alluring. I reached the oak tree, feeling an unsettling familiarity in the environment, like a worn-out cloak hugging my weary body. My mind raced with memories of past encounters and how they left their indelible mark on me. As I looked up at the sky, it seemed to stretch endlessly into a pale shade of nothingness, a void that appeared devoid of stars or clouds. The sun hung low in the horizon, barely casting its feeble light across the sky, leaving everything enshrouded in an unsettling twilight. Suddenly a cold gust swept through the air, carrying with it the faintest echo of cosmic whispers I had ever heard. They merged into a singular moment of clarity before it happened. The ground beneath me began to quake, as if reality itself was cracking open, revealing glimpses of another world, a realm of endless darkness where nothing existed but an oppressive silence. The earth split wide open, and from its churning depths emerged an unimaginable creature, with a form resembling the amalgamation of various geometric shapes. Its body pulsed with a sickly green light, as if drawing power directly from the void. I watched in terror-stricken awe as it moved closer, drawn by some unseen force towards the very fabric of my being. The creature's presence seemed to pull me into its embrace, threatening to merge our essences and reduce me to nothing more than a speck in an endless abyss. In that moment of utmost despair, I felt a stir deep within, a remnant of the desperate defiance from years gone by. With a last surge of willpower, I focused on the fact that it was the 1st of November, 1951. The creature hesitated for a moment before turning away from my firm, if feeble, grasp on reality. It stepped back into the void and disappeared, leaving behind only a cold shudder in the air. As the earth closed up and normalcy returned to the world around me, I was left with a newfound understanding, a realization about just how terrifyingly close we all are to the horrors lurking at our edges